Good afternoon, Shanta. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm doing well.
Okay, are you having a busy day today?
Yes, actually very busy. I usually start at 10:30. Today I started at about 9:30. Mostly back-to-back meetings. So yeah, a busy
Okay,
day.
okay,
How has
okay.
your day been?
It's been normal as usual, not very busy. So yeah, just
Okay,
home making duties. I'm doing pretty well.
okay, okay.
Okay, so how is Bangalore? Is it getting warmer?
I'm currently in Gurgaon, so it is quite cold. I mean, the cold is reducing, but it is still cold.
Here it is really warm. It's hot actually, not even warm, because I'm from a
Okay.
tropical kind
Okay.
of place, so it is very sunny.
Yeah. Acha. Okay.
Okay, so today's conversation is all about, talking about random topics because I'm sure you must be a part of hiring committee sometime in your life. So I think people ask me in the comments a lot of time, and they also send me mails about, see, when during
Hmm.
interviews, it's normal, like, give your introduction, what are your short-term,
Right.
long-term goals, salary negotiation, etc. But when people
Yeah.
ask something out of the, regular thing, regular questions, if they suddenly ask you
Yeah.
about certain different topic which people are not prepared for, okay, like
Right.
something they are living in some place, talk about that place. So maybe they do not have
Yeah.
enough knowledge about that. So I get these
Right.
questions. How do we talk about random topics? So our
Yeah.
conversation is going to be about that. But before
Yeah.
that, I would love for you to introduce yourself because it might be possible somebody is watching you for the first time. So we'll start with
Yeah.
introduction.
Okay. I'm Anushri. I'm a founder of a company called Sparky. Sparky is the AI friend for spoken English fluency. It's built for people like your viewer Shanta, who know some English, but they want to use English much more confidently, and they want to use it in their work or in their personal lives, and be able to speak about anything and lose that hesitation. So it's your friend that speaks to you, gives you feedback, etc. I run this company based out of Bangalore and Gurgaon. Now we have two offices in a way, and this is a 1.5 year old product. Before that, I ran another company called Spark Studio, which used to do online classes. That was focused on children. There also we about 40,000 students have studied with us, and English was the biggest category that they used to study with us, and spoken English fluency was the main need that we were solving there as well. But my background from before is I'm a computer science engineer. I'm an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and I have 13 years of work experience. Been in many different industries, typically been in business roles, and in the last 8, 9 years, I've been in digital sort of businesses, which are what they call consumer technology or consumer internet. So it is products that your viewers would have used. I was at Swiggy before this, then Spark Studio, and now I run Sparky.
Okay, when you talk about Spark Studio, it just occurred to me that I had applied to be a tutor on Spark Studio.
Okay.
I think I
Okay.
had filled the Google form incorrectly, or something happened, or something
Uh,
came in between, and I did it incomplete, something. But I remember the name Spark Studio and me applying for a
okay.
position there.
Acha. Okay. Good to know that, Shanta. We would have loved to have you. But now you're
Too late.
anyways talking to us often about Sparky. So happy
Yeah.
to have you now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So before the topic discussion, I want you to tell how we can use Sparky to practice
Hmm.
about topics, different types of topics.
Yeah.
Then we will watch a demo of Sparky and we'll jump into the conversation.
Yeah. So Sparky is, it's literally like your friend, and you can have any conversation with your friend. So similarly with Sparky, when you download the app, you'll see there are lots of different conversations, that we've already designed for, learners to have, but you can also choose anything that you want to talk about. So there are open experiences like, talk about anything where you can decide, I want to talk about something. It could be something very specific, which not so many other people are interested in. So you can talk about that by using the, talk about anything feature. Otherwise, we've designed a lot of conversations which range from things like, if you're preparing for an interview, what are the different types of conversations that you prepare for? Or if you just want to talk about yourself, your family, where you're from, what are your dreams? anything, right? Like language is a thing which can be practiced and improved while talking about almost anything. So it has a lot of variety, and it also has the freedom for you to select something even outside what we have already given. So it's a great place to practice many different feedback, many different conversations, and get feedback on the mistakes you make. Right. So you don't want to just have an opportunity to speak. You also want someone to tell you where you're
Right.
going wrong, how you can say this better. You'll pick up new vocabulary. So as Sparky is speaking, there are words. Suppose you're talking about career, and Sparky is saying something. And Sparky will use some words which maybe they're not so familiar to you. You can translate those words. You can save those words. You can add those words to your own knowledge, right? So if you're talking about, say, interview, somebody might use a word like, "What are your strengths and weaknesses?" or "What are the skill sets you have?" So these are some new terms and words that you'll incorporate. So I think it's best to see a demo. People will get a good sense. Otherwise, do try it yourself. It's free to try. So just download it, see how you want to use it and how it helps you.
Okay, so let's watch the demo now.
Introducing Sparky, your voice first AI friend for building spoken English fluency. Sparky is a friendly fox you can speak in English with, even if you don't speak well. Sparky gently corrects you and also shares feedback on everything you say.
I did not got invited for my friend's birthday and I'm very sad. I didn't knew she did not want to be friends with me.
Oh no, I'm
Each conversation is designed to give you practice on specific language concepts or topics relevant to your life. Sparky keeps the conversation going so it never gets boring and helps and supports learners. If you're stuck for words, Sparky suggests what you could say. If you don't understand something Sparky said, you can easily see the meaning and even translate it to a language of your choice. Want to hear something again? You can just hit replay. You can also choose the accent and speed for Sparky's voice.
hello. Would you like me to speak faster or slower or in a different style?
Over time, it creates your personalized learning path to give you more practice on the specific mistakes that you make. If you don't feel like always talking, you can try out some fun interactive games designed to build vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. You can also read stories and articles with Sparky, and Sparky will highlight the mispronounced words in red. Users see Sparky as a friend and enjoy talking to it.
I want to share a few things with you. Like in friendship, I always try to put my efforts in my all possible best ways. Then also, I am always being treated like an option. What to do about it?
Very soon, underconfident, struggling learners gain confidence, get over the stress and embarrassment, and begin to have meaningful conversations about things important to them. This
Right. Coming back to the topic of today, see there, I would like to segregate into three categories. Sometimes we
Hmm.
know very well about a topic, sometimes we have limited knowledge about a topic, and there might be scenarios where we have no idea about the topic. So I want you
Hmm.
to shed some light or share your knowledge about how to
Yeah.
manage these three categories in the when you're in these three situations, because it also
Yeah.
happens like everyday conversations, like I'm talking to you, I connect with
Yeah.
different people. So at that time,
Right.
randomly, if I give up a topic and we are supposed to talk on that, so how do we manage things like food, hobbies? These are things like we can talk at a stretch. But other
Hmm.
things people might have limited knowledge, like finance or something like that. Then there are
Yeah.
some like rocket science or geology where we have no idea about it. So how do we handle
Yeah.
these situations?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start with the last one first, where you have no knowledge at all, right? Like say something like Bitcoin or something like, geology, something, something is happening in world politics. What are Trump's policies? What is he doing now that he's in power in the US? Maybe you don't have any idea about it. My first sort of input would be that it's okay. No one is expected to know about everything, right? So first, you don't don't need to pretend that you know, right? It's okay to not know, unless it is something that is like, so you are applying for a job and that is a critical part of the skill set that you should have, then that's a problem. But for other random topics, you don't need to pretend you know, but you should still be able to hold a conversation about it, which does not come from the point of knowledge. It
Right.
can come from a point of curiosity, or it can come from a point of personal experience, right? There are other ways to look at that topic, right? So, for example, you can say that suppose you're talking about Trump's policies that he has just announced, right? You may not know, and you can ask questions that, hey, I actually have not been following it, but what are the main things that he has said? Or you could say that, I have a friend who lives in the US, and I was seeing on her, Facebook or Instagram, they were very anti-Trump. And I don't know, but I think Indians are not happy with what Trump's doing. So you don't have a lot of knowledge, but whatever knowledge you have, uh, and it may not even be knowledge, right? It is just some idea of what is the zone of this conversation, right? So you start from that. So I think moving on to things that you know a little bit about, you want to actually structure a little bit of what you're saying. So use simple words, use simple vocabulary. You don't need to impress anyone with your language, because you are here because you are trying to get confident in English, right? So English might be something that you're worried about. So don't try to use words or things that you don't know. Speak simply about what you know and express your point of view with some structure. So one example of a structure is, suppose you're talking about different types of diets, or you're talking about traveling, or you're talking about something, right? So then you say you're talking about traveling, and then maybe you have a point of view, then you have a reason, because why do you think like that? There's a reason for that. Then you can give an example, right? So for example, you say, I think travel is a great way to, get out of your comfort zone, experience new things, or learn from other parts of the country or the other parts of the world, whatever you want to say, right? If that's your point of view, then you say why you think that is true. So maybe you say it's true because you see so many things that you don't have in your neighborhood or in your regular life, and you learn how to adapt to those things, or maybe you understand the culture of other places. Whatever is your reason for believing that travel is a great way to explore something. And then you say something of your personal experience, that you're like, once I went to Assam, and I went to small villages that are high in the hills, and the way they live life is very different. And I saw that, something, right? So
Mm.
basically, you've created a structure around what you wanted to say. It's
Mm.
easy for the other person to follow, and it's easy for the other person to also engage, and they will give their own experience. You have given your experience, they will give their experience, or you have given some reason for your point of view. Maybe they have a different point of view, and then they'll say, no, I don't think it's like that. I read about this and it's like that, something like that, right? So I think it just creates a little structure for you to be able to have that interchange, which with less amount of information. You don't have a lot of information. The other thing you can do is, maybe you said everything you knew about this topic and now you're done. Like, Abhi, I don't know more than this, right? Then you can use filler, words or phrases, like saying, "Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about that," or "Can you tell me more?" Some of those types of filler words, which buys you some time, and it also uh, lets the other person contribute. Can you hear me, Shanta? I don't know why
I
my
can hear
internet
you.
is
Your
being
audio
bad.
is clear, but here and there your video is.
Uh, Most difficult one probably for people is when they know a lot about something. So if someone asks me, how is it to start a company?
Mm.
Or something like that, I have so many thoughts about it. I have so many things I would like to tell you, that it people get muddled in, too much knowledge. And then they just rant and they ramble, right? They just like talk a lot without any structure and clarity. And you lose the person. So since you give the example of this being asked in an interview, right? You
Right,
have
right.
to be you have to know why this person is asking and how much is their interest, right? Like, is there, like, suppose you ask me, how is it to start a company? If you're asking generally out of curiosity, maybe I'll tell you in 4 5 lines. But if
Right.
you're asking me with a lot of curiosity because you are also planning to start a company, then I will tell you half an hour,
Mm.
many things that I have learned. And
Yeah.
I'm selecting what things to tell you based on my understanding of why you're asking. right?
Mm.
So it's important to sort of have some judgment, which is why you can't prepare, in conversation, it's not a good idea to learn up something or just prepare a speech and go and dump that speech on someone. It's a conversation. So you can also put it like, ask clarifying questions. Which part do they want to focus on? So for example, why do you want to start? How is it to start a company? I'll tell you, no, it's very rewarding, but it's also very difficult. There are various aspects of it, and maybe I'll say there are three, four aspects, right? There is an aspect of how do you build a team, how do you start something, a product or something which is it's at zero. How do you bring it to something? Then there is the whole part of legally, how do you start a company? How do you raise money from investors for a company? So these are all sorts of different aspects of this thing. What part are you interested in, right? So I'm giving you a chance to select what part do you want to know? If you someone tell me about your experience or something. So maybe you have a lot of different types of experience, or they ask you what is your most challenging project. Now you can explain challenges in various ways. In like, what was the specific thing you did, or how was it to, get other people in the team aligned with you, or how did you, sell it in the market? Well, there could be many things. So just use the opportunity to understand what the other person is interested in and select what and how much detail to tell them, right? That's
Mm.
one. The second is called the pyramid principle. This is well understood in communication.
Mm.
You have to use a pyramid principle of communication. Pyramid means the top is very narrow. It's like a triangle, right? The top is your headline.
Mm.
Then you go one level lower with some detail, and then you go one level further lower in more as much detail as you want. But you have to
Mm.
start from the top, start from the most important thing, and then get into detail, right? So otherwise, don't, as soon as you hear the question, don't just start like a train, running in one direction where no one can stop you and the other person gets a little bored
Yeah.
of you.
Mm.
Yeah.
And in interviews, how to gently say I don't know, like when you have no idea about
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, I think it's totally okay to say I don't know. If you feel or if you behave like, oh my God, this is horrible, the other person will actually think it's horrible because they feel like, oh, this made you so uncomfortable, this must be necessary. But if
Mm.
you say very confidently, ki, oh, I'm so sorry, but I have not had a chance to, look into this, or I have not had a chance to work in this aspect. Like, I'll give you an example. When I was applying to IIM Ahmedabad. In my interview was the day after the budget came out, or it was soon after, 1 or 2 days after the budget came out. Now you're applying to a business school. They expect you to read newspapers, and I was traveling. I had two, three IIM Calcutta interview in Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad interview in Ahmedabad. So I was like traveling from here to there by myself as a young girl. I didn't have the time to prepare and read the newspaper. I had no idea, and it's a really bad thing. You've come for a I'm an interview and you don't even know what was announced in the budget. It shows that you're not even interested. How can you not know? But I didn't know. And then I had no option. Like, I can't make up something about, a fact which I don't know about. So I just said, I'm sorry. I probably should have looked at this, but I've been traveling for the last couple of days for my interviews, and I've not had a chance to look at it. So I'm actually completely unaware, right?
Mm.
Like, I have no idea about
Okay.
what was announced in the budget, and you sort of say it with confidence. You say it with a smile, and maybe you crack a joke. I really should do it. I'm going to do it after this conversation, or something like that, right? So, but I think there are various ways. Either you have a reason
Mm.
because of this I don't know, or otherwise you just say, I've not done any work in that side. Like, I'm taking some interviews of engineers right now. I ask all of them, have you done any work with AI tools? Because there's so many now AI tools that are available. So I always ask them, have you tried AI tools? And there are some people who haven't, which I think is not very good. They should, because these are the new technologies becoming available. So,
Yes.
you should try things out. But many of them say that no, in my work, I've not needed to use them because my work is of such and such type, and that's why I haven't used them. But I think there is a lot happening, and I want to spend some time over the next couple of months to learn what can help me in the work I do. So that's a sort of nice, gentle way of saying why I don't know and expressing the intent that I do want to know and
Mm.
I will work on it or something.
Right, right,
So,
exactly. And when people also tell me that I know English very well, but when people give me topics to talk,
hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how to talk about that. Then I say knowledge of English is different to knowledge of that particular topic. If you don't know to talk about that topic,
Yeah.
maybe because you didn't have a chance to talk about it, not because you don't know
Yeah.
English. So don't confuse the two.
Right.
You know English doesn't mean
Yeah.
you should talk fluently about whatever topic is given to you. So yeah,
Yes.
something
Yeah,
similar.
and I think if you want to get to that level where you are fluently talking about anything, the best thing you can do is try a lot of variety of topics in your journey to learning English. Try different things so you will yourself get more comfortable and you will learn some vocabulary about different topics have some different vocabulary. If you're talking about some medical thing, then you have some different words. What is the diagnosis, what is the medication, what is the X, like there are different words you use to
Mm,
talk about that. If you're talking about pollution, maybe you're talking about slightly different words. If you're talking about finance and economics and politics, they're slightly different words. So if you try different conversations in your journey to become better at English, those words will just seep into your regular vocabulary, and you will not feel so much lack of preparation when you're approaching new topics.
right. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I'm 100% sure it's going to be beneficial to a lot of people, because we have English learners joining the channel or watching the conversations. So thank you so much. So is there anything else you want to add to the conversation before we wind up? Because we're running out of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just maybe one last thing, and which is, the underlying basis of many of these things is the confidence is king, right? Confidence is even more important and even more impressive than your English speaking skills or knowledge of the topic. So, whatever situation you find yourself in, don't lose your confidence, right?
Mm,
It's okay. You don't know about something, it's clearly okay, right? You're living a good life without knowing about that topic. It must be fine. So
mm,
don't make it more serious in your mind. Just carry on with confidence and carry on with your practice, right? So I think those
yeah.
are the two things.
And if you don't know things, don't bring confidence into place and tell something wrong out of like overconfidence. So just watch out. Too.
Yeah. Yeah. Take it slower, take it, in a simpler way, ask more questions. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
confidence, not overconfidence.
Yeah, exactly. I see so many
Yes.
people speaking wrong confidently. So that's why I told just
Uh-huh.
make sure you're speaking
Yeah.
right, then be confident about
Yeah, no, I mean to say by confidence, saying that you're not feeling bad about not knowing about this topic. You're able to say, nicely that I don't know.
it. Mm,
And, that
yeah.
way not getting offended. That's what I meant. But
Right.
cool.
Then, yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy the
Thank
rest of
you,
your day.
Shanta.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. See you.